Wake up, bitch! It is time for me to record this video for the third fucking time. It's taking me like 20 minutes each time. The first time there was like a weird sound in my GoPro. The second time the engine was too loud. So I just got back from Best Buy, had to buy a different mount, and I pray to God that the audio is going to be good this time, because this is a long ass vlog and I've recorded it multiple times, but I felt it needed to be heard. So as you can see, I'll probably name the title of this video like my 2014 story or crazy 2014 story. It'll be something like that. But I just wanted to basically let everybody in on you know, an in-depth look of what actually happened to me in 2014, because a lot of you guys know, like, I trade stocks or whatever, but you don't really know what exactly happened in depth. So I don't know how long this vlog is going to be. I don't know how funny it's going to be. Probably not going to laugh, but it's, you know, an uncut, real, raw version of you know, the instances that took place. And I'm going to go get a car wash at the same time, so we'll drive through the car wash together and shit. It'll be dope. But anyway, rewind the clocks back to early, you know, we'll say late 2013. You know, I'm not really enjoying playing Call of Duty competitively at this point. I'm having way more fun doing YouTube videos, and my YouTube channel is starting to gain some traction. It's starting to get some views. I was doing, you know, hundreds of thousands of views on these videos, like the day in the life, the Valentine's Day, all that stuff. And yeah, I was having a better time with that. So I, you know, retired from Call of Duty with the idea that I'm going to keep doing these YouTube skits, and because I love creating things, and I still do to this day. I mean, we'll get back into that later, but yeah, I was doing all these vlogs and stuff. I retired from Call of Duty, and at the same time I'm doing all of this, I'm, you know, just sitting around the house. I'm getting real nerdy with it. I got like I got skit ideas on my phone, like taking long ass notes. I still to this day have scripts in my phone. I was gonna do another skit. It was gonna be like a serial snowman killer, and it was gonna end up being Nade Shot, and I was gonna be like an anchor man. It was gonna be a dope video. I still might make it, to be honest. I don't know, I kind of just ruined it, but anyway, at the same time, you know, I've got a little money laying around from tournament wins and, you know, all the streaming we did in 2013 and YouTube and all that, and so I've got like $40,000 or $50,000 to invest. And my mom wants me to open up like a Charles Schwab account. She wants me to get invested in some long-term stuff. She was in some stocks like HIMX. Oh, and disclaimer, you're probably not going to know half the terminology I'm talking about, and I may like go off on a rant or something and you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, but you'll be able to catch the gist of the story. But anyway, like the stock ticker she was in was like HIMX, and she wanted me to, you know, get invested in that. So I did. I made like, you know, a couple $1,000s, and I was very curious at the time. I mean, I still am very curious and fascinated with the idea, you know, that money can make you more money if you just know where to put it. So I started reading a little bit on like MSN, CNBC, you know, I'd watch TV shows. I just read around on the internet. I was on Investopedia, like trying to figure out what the bid price was for a stock, what the asking price is. I literally knew nothing about stocks. Never figured it out. I took one finance course in college and ended up like dropping it halfway through because we were moving out here. So didn't get too far into that, but I started venturing off, like I said, into my own little investments. And I remember just putting everything I had into, I forget what the stock ticker was. It was like WCPS or WPCS. It was the same idea. They were supplying some kind of you know, materials for Google Glass or like the new iPhone or some shit like that. And I'd, you know, lose a couple $1,000s one day and make a couple $1,000s the next, but it never really went anywhere. And this entire time I'm still fascinated by all this stuff. I'm reading, I like it, and I finally end up coming across you know, an article talking about medicinal marijuana stocks and how it is in a, you know, crazy uptrend, like 500% gains in a day, 1,000% gains in a couple of weeks. And I started doing math on my account. I'm like, I got, you know, $40,000, $50,000 at 1,000% on that. It's fucking, it's a lot of money. So at this point, I had no idea what like risk management was. I wasn't thinking about what I could actually lose at the time. I had no idea about that. I wasn't thinking about losing. All I could think about was doing this math in my head. Like, if I get into a stock that goes up 1,000% and I put a bunch of money into it, I can make so much. So that's what I ended up doing. I read around, I stumbled upon like investorshub.com, which is just a parasite-filled forum full of very ignorant penny stock investors. I now know that, but I didn't back then. And you know, I would get on these forums, I would see what people were saying, I would hop in these momentum stocks, and I would just kind of ride the wave and try to get out. And at first, you know, I was still just making a couple $1,000s, losing a couple $1,000s, and then I got in about halfway through this bubble with the medicinal marijuana stocks. You know, they started blowing up in late 2013, and the bubble kind of burst in March or April, January, February, March. Yeah, March or April of 2014. And I started investing around the start of February. So I was right in the middle, and I caught some massive moves in some of these stocks. And, you know, they're going from like 1 penny to, you know, like 40 cents. And that's, you know, doesn't seem like a lot, but, you know, if you're investing something at a penny and it hits 2 pennies, that's 100% return on your investment, which is pretty much unheard of. I mean, not in penny stocks, but in, you know, regular equities markets. I mean, 100% gain is fucking insane. So, you know, I ended up catching these a few 1,000% gainers, and everything was just going up. And, you know, the stocks they'd come down a little bit, but there were always somebody there to buy them. There was more money flowing into the sector. There was more money to buy these stocks and keep them going up. And, you know, this entire time I'm not selling any of these, so I'm making, you know, crazy amounts of money. Like the swings in my account were ridiculous, and it's almost like, I mean, it still is like a video game almost, but I didn't realize, you know, what I was playing with exactly. I would have days where, you know, I'm losing $30,000, and by the end of the day I'm up like 40 or 50,000. So like 6-figure swings in my account. And, you know, a month goes by, these stocks are still, you know, the bubble is building up, hasn't burst. And, you know, by the end of it, in almost a month, my little $40,000 or $50,000 account had, you know, ballooned up to almost $1 million. And it was sitting there, and still at this time, everything is, you know, unrealized. I haven't actually made this money. You know, I have to sell the stocks. And I remember one day we were going to a tournament, because I was bound to hold these fucking things forever, dude. I wasn't letting them go. I thought I was in the next fucking Microsoft. And, you know, one of these days, I was pretty immune to all the losses, but we were at the airport, and at one point I was down like $150,000, and that was one that even me, you know, at the ripe age of 22, I had put a little knot in my stomach, and I was like, what is going on here? And this was around, you know, the end of March, and basically that's what ended up bursting the bubble. All of those stocks I was in, they took a pretty large hit, and it scared a lot of people, and it just started cascading lower and lower and lower. And like I said, all I had known up to this point was buy the dip in the stock. It's going to go down, but it's going to go back up a little bit. So, you know, this entire time there's people on Twitter that I use now actually for day trading services, swing trading services, and they're telling me like, you know, these stocks are going to go down and they're not going to come back up. They're going to keep going. They're going to go down further than you think they can. And I fucking hated these guys at the time, because I thought they were just trying to scare people out of their investments to, you know, get in at a lower price. But it turns out, you know, they were just very experienced stock traders, day traders and swing traders that have been doing it for 10 or 15 years and seen bubbles like that. And long story short, you know, I do end up selling all of my positions off, but not before I took a pretty big hit on my account size. But I got out, you know, with a good chunk of change. And this is when everybody on Twitter is asking like, yo, what are you in? You know, telling people the stocks. And, you know, as soon as, you know, all that money was made, these things start going down, and everybody starts freaking out. Like I said, it starts cascading lower. And yeah, so I like I said, I end up with a good chunk of change. And this entire time, I'm not talking on Twitter that much. I'm not really tweeting. I'm not on YouTube. I'm not streaming, because I'm just so blown away by what had happened. You know, I sold off these positions and literally would just stare at my account at night and just try to process what had actually happened. What had I actually done? Because, I mean, I'm sure everybody has heard of, like, you know, overnight penny stock millionaire ads, but it doesn't actually happen ever. And it was one of those rare lucky instances where it actually did happen to me, and I was one of those people. So it took me a while to process it, but I knew that if I continued down that same path, I was going to be broke. I was going to lose everything. So I had to actually learn how to do this stuff. And as you can imagine, you know, when you get started and you go from, you know, like I said, my small account from $40,000 or $50,000 to up to $1 million, I was blown away. I was just fascinated by what had happened, what was possible. Even to this day, I love the equity markets, I love stock trading, but I still love creating content as well. I still love doing YouTube. I still like creating. I still like making people laugh. I still enjoy streaming. You know, for the past month or two, I've been streaming more. I've been trying to get back on the YouTube thing. And over the summer, you know, I was waking up early in the morning. I was still reading fucking like 12 hours a day. It was all I did. But, you know, during like the lunchtime lull is what people call it when you're stock trading. When everything's slow, everybody's going to lunch, I would hop off and I try to record Minecraft with Hex and Matt. I was trying to just juggle all of these things, but it was so hard to, you know, come up with ideas for like vlogs and these skits, because those things do take time and it takes some creativity. And it really just takes a different carefree mindset to do these vlogs and like funny skits and stuff. And it's tough, man. I'll be honest, it's tough to go from like this mathematical surgeon during the day, you know, around all these numbers, all these very serious people, because you're dealing with serious concepts and you're dealing with money, and then to, you know, automatically just flip a switch. You know, sometimes people would come in my room and like throw a camera at me, and it's just so hard to get out of that zone and be like the funny, goofy kid that does YouTube at the same time. But you know, now I'm learning how to juggle that. But like I said, over the summer I was using like Investors Live, and I still use that chat room to day trade and swing trade. But at first I started trying to swing trade, and I don't know if you guys watched Halo at all, when Halo was on the MLG circuit a few years ago, 2007, 2008, but one of the old Halo pros Mike introduced me to, his gamertag was Tot. His name is Anthony Pinocchio. His family used to run a bunch of LANs for Halo teams. It's called the LAN Network. I'm sure some of you guys have seen that stuff. And he showed me a guy service. It was called iBank Coin, and his name is Jeff Kohler. He was a swing trader, had been doing it for 10 or 15 years, and I started following these picks, and right away, as soon as I start doing it, my account starts blowing up again, and I start loving this swing trading idea. And that's when I start learning that, like, I mean, you probably don't give a shit, but you know, like, different market conditions are easier to, you know, swing trade in, and other market conditions are easier to day trade in. So, you know, it started off, swing trading was great, and then I tried to, you know, keep pushing these big position sizes while the markets were kind of going down over the summer in July and September. And that's when I started to realize, you know, when there's higher like daily fluctuations in stocks, it's easier to day trade. So that's when I started trying to teach myself how to day trade, and I'd use the Investors Live service. And I'm just trying to, you know, surround myself with smarter people than I, and just listen and absorb all of the information that I can, because when I, you know, put my mind to something, I fucking do it 100%. I've always been like that. You know, it was the same strategy I had with Call of Duty, basically, or with video games in general. You know, I did not stop until I was the best at it, and that's kind of the same approach that I take to stock trading. And it's not that I just picked up the craft right away. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're a stock trading god." Like, that's not it. It's that I follow in these same picks, and I'm learning from the mistakes of people before me that have done this for, you know, 10 or 15, sometimes 20 years. So I'm trying to accelerate my learning curve, if you will. So that's basically what I've been doing ever since January or February. You know, it's weird that it's almost been a year since I posted that retiring from Call of Duty video. It literally fucking seems like it was 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And Advanced Warfare is already out, so it's obviously easier now to get some YouTube content with a new game. It's fresh, it's exciting, people enjoy it, so that helps. But like I said, it was hard for a while to switch out of that mode every day when I'm done trading stocks and I'm, you know, in webinars and I'm fucking watching Jim Cramer at 5 o'clock every night. It's hard to come up with video ideas and skits and, like I said, be that goofy, funny kid. But hold on, we're gonna hop inside the car wash real quick. I'm always fucking terrified of this thing. One time I was taking my truck in to get my oil changed, and you know how like people will stand under the vehicle? People will stand under the vehicle and you have to drive on these little ramps so that they can see under. I almost fell into one of those one time with my truck. So I'm fucking terrified of these things. I have to drive into this little hole and then it pushes you through the car wash. But hold on, I'm gonna edit this part of the video because somebody's gonna come to the car, I think, and I'll come back whenever we're inside the wash. All right, never mind. This freaking car wash thing is taking forever. The girl that was supposed to come scan my VIN number just hopped into the car wash thing. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to give you guys, you know, a raw, uncut version of what happened, because I know I did fall off the grid of YouTube and just online gaming in general, and hopefully you get an idea why. I was just so psyched, bitch, we're in the wash tunnel. This shit is terrifying. Oh my God. What is going on?